There we go. Yeah, I'm just setting things up here. Where is that one? There we go. All right. Yes, let's get back into it. So, well, I was doing something here. I was trying to set up the some more streaming easiness, but let's see. Yeah, today I'm gonna continue with the game, I think. At least that's the plan. So let me fix something here. Okay, so I should do this. No, automatic stop. Okay, so now the automatic thing is not on. Good. And then we switch over to this one. And let's get out of here. Oh, there's a whole bunch of stuff here. Oh yeah, well, I won't do anything with this now. Yeah, let's get back into this. So, do we have anything here? No. So we have the editor. There's a bunch, sometime. Hang on a second. Alright. There was some time ago since I was in here, so let's check out. Let's do like oh yeah, that's right. Let's start this up. And it should be like a capture somewhere for this here. No? Yes. Okay, there we go. And then I will try and start the game. There we go. And it should be this one. Yes. I'll just check my controller works here. Alright. Okay, there we go. Yes, I remember. Cool. Oh yeah, and the mist form. yeah, so basically you can evade and you can, yeah, that was the thing that was implemented last time. You evade and you basically also, so what I, yeah, you also de-aggro as well. So what I would like to do with this, I mean, right now it's like, it's not really balanced. You can, it's like, super easy to kill these guys now. But the way I'm thinking about that is, it's gonna be like enemies that you encounter before you get the ability. It's not supposed to be like balanced for the ability, but instead you're gonna feel like, well, now I got this nice ability that makes the fighting a lot more smooth. But then there's gonna be enemies later that is gonna be sort of balanced around the mist ability, so they won't. I think we're gonna have like enemies that could sort of, you know, maybe even don't care about the mist ability. Maybe even find you in the mist. Maybe they also go into mist form and attack you if you try to do that, or something like that. Well, that's an interesting thought. Let's see. I had my project here somewhere. Now is the question what to do now. I need to kind of unload my brain because I've been so much into the vibe coding with the web page, so I need to sort of rewire my brain a little bit to start thinking about the game. Also, I need to eat breakfast as well. Hello, Blue. How's it going? Yeah, no. Well, I actually started out using Regu GUI, but I didn't think it didn't have that many features. So I switched to ImGUI. So this is ImGUI here. InSig. I've been deep into vibe coding my web page for the last week, 2 weeks. So I really need to get into this. I just throw myself into this session here, but I really don't have much of a plan. Are you? Do you have Are you using Regui, or have you used Imgui, or what are you doing? All right, let's check. Yeah, we have some leaks. I don't care about that. Milestone or to do. Well, I do have to do for the editor. I'm not sure if that's what I want to do right now, though. No, I want to go to the game. And see. We have some stuff that I want to get to, like the camera is one huge thing that is looming always. But I feel like in order to get the camera, I need to sort of decide on a couple of things. Like, for example, here, I think one thing that I did, you're doing nothing. Well, I mean, you're watching a development stream. That's could count for something. I basically, I zoomed in the camera a little bit. Basically, I think maybe twice as much or something. And I really like this that it's more zoomed in now, because it felt like really felt before like everything was a bit small and you could fit a lot of things. However, the UI now is a little bit. This HUD here is in the way now. I have to figure out. Yeah, you're learning. I mean, yeah. Have you learned? Do you know any programming? And here's the missed ability. How did I enter this? Did this break? I'm pretty sure I had something to enter that. Oh, maybe the UI is like... Oh, maybe there is a message, but it's not... Okay, let's fix that actually. Let's fix this UI thing. So one thing you can see here, the UI for the menu is like off. So let's fix that. Yay, we found something to do. Okay, so let's go to and I have to reorient myself here. Okay, let's go to, where is this? UI. We should probably make some convenient things here. So basically, if we go to I guess health. No. Where is that happening? Draw. Ah, here we go. HUD system. Draw. I'll get a couple of things here. But let's just see. We got this thing here. I guess this is fine for now, but this is probably... Where's the menu at? Here we go, it's here. Draw. C in Python, but I tried Sig with Rayleigh, it feels nice. Nah, that's good to hear. I love it. Hello Palera7, how's it going? I'm doing well. How are you? Finally, excuse me. Finally, it's still early in the morning for me. It's 11 o'clock. Finally, continue with the game development now. Alright, so we're drawing. Right, so we have these different menu types. So this is one. So nice to have the LSP as well. And draw ingredients. Okay. So we have the item menu. We're drawing a title. Let's look at this because this is right. So we're using this function here. UI get anchor point position top center. So I believe this is now wrong because that top center is like it's yeah, it's wrong basically. And we have a grid size. Okay, so this is basically hard-coded here. And there should be like a UI scale, which is 6. I believe I bumped it from 4 to 6. Are we changing GUI? No, so well, this is the game. So if I go into the game here and explaining. One recent change that I did was to zoom in basically everything. So every pixel you see here is basically went from 4 times whatever resolution I had before to 6 times. So this is like each pixel is like 6 times larger than it like a 1 pixel, I guess. Does that make sense? I don't know. But anyway, one consequence of that is that in the menu here, I don't know if you can see that this is a menu, but it's like this is like a menu and you can switch between the different pages in the menu. I haven't really implemented you know, a lot of styling here. I'm gonna like add so that it's more, you know, it looks more like a menu here. But anyway, if we focus on this part here where the menu is drawn, you can see that it's not centered. So what I want to do is look why it's not centered and fix it basically. And right now the way that we do it is we have this UI helper struct that has defined a grid size, which is like, if you imagine the screen being divided into cells or into a grid, then each cell in the grid has a specific size, which is this one. This is like 16 by 16. Actually, The text, yeah, the text I think is like half of that. So 2 letters can fit in 1 tile. But then the grid size is like how many tiles do we have on the screen. And here we define it as 30 by 16, which was true when we had 4. The scale was 4, but now the scale is 6. So logically, maybe mathematically, if we reduce this by 50%, no wait, how much did we increase? We increased, I mean, we increased by 50%. But how much is, I think what we need to do, we can't just double this because it's not double. No, we can, hang on. So how much is 4 to 6? That is like 30, 2/3. So 20. And this is tricky here. This doesn't work. I'm just gonna put 15, like 11. Or 10. Whatever. It's the Y position, so. Okay, there we go. Now it's more centered there. Cool. Awesome. Now this UI, like I'm not even sure like how I want the UI to be. Like this is like what item you have selected. Here you can see the resources here. I don't even know if I want to show these all the time. You know, it's very up in the air. But one thing that I would like to do is move these now. Since we're so zoomed in, it makes sense to move them into to the top. So let's just do that. Oh, it's 11 for you. So where do you live, Palaris? Like which country? If you want to, you don't have to answer if you don't want to. I'm not sure if you already told me, but I don't remember. Sorry. I don't have the best memory, unfortunately. Okay, so that would be in the HUD then. So health should be fine. We have gems. This should now be top left. So it's like, well, you know what, since this is gonna be changed anyway, top left. No, that should be fine. Okay, how does that look? Germany. Heard Sweden is really nice too. Yeah. I've been to Germany a couple of times. It's nice. Okay, now we have the gems over here. How far down is the health? +1. Okay. Where is that? See, I'm going from web page, like making a web page to mode into making a game, and the first thing I do is change the UI around. ECS. ECS is Entity Component System. I am using ECS. As you can see here, I have like a ECS library, which is it's a port of. So this is Zig ECS. I'm pretty sure it's called, and it's like a port of a popular or popular. I don't know if it's popular. Well, anyway, of a library called Entity, like ENTT, which is a C++ library, if I don't remember incorrectly. Yeah, so it's a Zig port of that library basically, and it's really nice. I like it a lot. Draw usable item. Yes. So this one should be the same now. So this should be. Let's do the same thing there. This should be like top right. And we should be consistent. Zig has an ECS library, yes. And I guess, yeah, for Parallel 7, like basically what it is like, it's like a way of you know, having a place to store all data for your for all the, like, you know, monsters and you know, your player and everything, all the entities in the game. So entity is like basically which entity we're talking about. Components are the data. This is like, I guess, a traditional ECS definition, I guess. And then the system is the logic, you could say, like what behavior should things have. This is SIG 0.15. Actually, that reminds me. I should also check, because they are constantly bringing out new versions. Let me see if there has been any news on that front. 0.16. Uh, 16 is still in development. Latest and greatest is 0.15.1, and that's the one that I'm using. Okay, we can see that the top right is not actually in frame right now. So there's something weird going on. Also, it almost looks like this font is like larger. No, maybe not. Okay. Something is weird with the top right. Oh, because we're not centering it, maybe. Right, that might be the issue. So here we have the size, half the size, offset. Let's also do like negative half the size. I got into ECS from data-oriented design. Okay, cool. Are you using it for game development then? Oh, now it's gone. Oh yeah, because this is in tiles. Right, okay, well, let's do this then. Let's do init, and this will be point, so negative 0.5, 0.5. And yeah, so ECS is basically, it's a way to define your game basically, and in code, and it's also good for serialization, I would say. Like you could define like because the components are already data, so you could just have them as like you could easily define their data as you shouldn't snap there when you press down. Okay, well, now this one is kinda centered. I guess it's the gem. This is like the size of the gem, maybe. Right. And then we don't have the text, really. I guess we could do -1 just to make it a little bit more simple. It doesn't really matter. Why am I worrying about this? Okay, let's do draw usable item. I'm like nitpicking about the details when this is not gonna be probably even in the final version anyway. Okay, well, draw usable item. So this one is not even visible. So what we want to do is we want to say init, and this one is like, yeah, it's 2 by 2. So if we want it centered, well, we don't want it centered, we want it, so let's do 3, and wait, how does this work? Okay, let's just see how this looks. Right. I wish I had hot module reloading. Wait. Wait, so negative goes... Yeah, because top left is 0, 0. Okay, yeah. I'm mixing it with real math. So 1 should be correct, I think. Okay. Well, I guess it depends a little bit. Okay, this one, let's just move this down. So 1 should be, that should be correct there. All right. Yeah, it doesn't look super great, but whatever. Now at least it's centered there. Okay. Let's figure out what we could do here. Well, yeah, we also have the so the dialogue is also a little bit off here. It should be better. Dialogue rectangle. Right. So this is basically the grid size minus something. So I think we wanna we want to take this and -2 by, and I guess 6 could be, six is like the why coordinate system starts from the center of the screen? I mean, if you're, it depends on what you're talking about. Like if you like screen coordinates, how would I say it? Like the GPU actually, when you say like 0, 0, that means the center of the screen. In maths, that's like, well, you don't really have a screen, I guess. It depends on what kind of plane you're talking about. But in like, you know, the Euclid plane or whatever, you usually have like an origin point. And if you go up, then that's positive. Up to the right is positive, down to the left is negative. But on a computer, traditionally, the top left is 0, 0. And if you go X positive, you go to the right. If you go Y positive, you go down. Now the X axis is the same as in math, but the Y axis is flipped. And you know, sometimes in order to, because there's a difference, then maybe sometimes you're thinking in terms of a math equation or a math problem. Sometimes you're thinking in terms of a computer screen. So it gets confusing if you need to mix those things all the time. So it's nice if you have a consistent system that only works the same. And sometimes it's also nice to have like 0, 0 as the center of the screen if you want to center things. I think it's like convenient to have things like that. Like all entities in the game are centered. 0, 0 is their center, and yeah. But then you also have things like the UI. It's a bit different actually, because the UI, it makes, to me at least, it makes more sense to have like top left 0, 0, because it's more like a grid tile based system. So so then it makes more sense, because you don't want to draw things from the center. You want to draw things from the top left, because it's easier to. I mean, you can just translate. I mean, just translating between centering a thing and not centering is pretty easy. You just take half the size. Like if you have the top left and you want to center, if you want to center around a position, you have the position as the top left, and then you just subtract half the size of the thing, then it's centered. Around that point. Well, I mean, the fault is, I guess, you know, it's more like how computers, or how, I guess, the hardware works. You know, traditionally, well, actually, if you go back to the old TVs, then if you didn't put any, like the electron beam would shoot into the middle of the screen. So you have, if you want to offset it, yeah, whatever. So basically, I think it's just how the hardware works. Like if you send like pixel 00 to the screen or whatever, it's gonna put it at the top left. But nowadays I have no idea how the screens work. But yeah. But you know, that's still the case. If you have any sort of, if you have like a graphics library and you want to draw a pixel and you have to put in a position, usually it's gonna be at the top left, unless you specify some like sometimes there are graphics libraries that you can specify translate to the center of the screen. I mean, it's just a translation, it's just an adding of, it's just adding half the screen size to your position. So if you put 00, you're actually putting it over here. But you have to be, I mean, you see what the you have to sort of, you just adjust it when you see it's wrong. You just adjust it to work. Okay, well, this now, so we take the size of the window and we subtract 2, and then we want to basically set the Y axis, so we can do this, and then we can add six. Okay. And then we'll just see if that is good or not. Like the height might be bad. We'll see. Yeah. How can... Oh. No, wait. Yeah, from here, this should nullify... Oh, wait. We should do this, yes. Okay, there we go. I mean, it's covering basically the entire screen, so it's not great. I guess this was better when we had more pixels. Well, you know what? I'm gonna just I don't care actually right now about that. That's not really important. I think I wanna sort of that's gonna be something that I'm gonna work on you know, when polishing or whatever. So actually one thing that I would like to fix is this the jumping here. So basically we have, there's a nice thing that some games do that my game don't, and that's you have a little bit of buffering when jumping. So it's like when you jump, and if you reach the ground, then you can jump again, right? However, we don't want the jump to you don't want to jump and then hold the button, and when you land you're not supposed to jump again even though you're holding down the button. So we're basically tracking if the player is jumping and holding the button at the same, like through the whole thing. Once you release, then you can press again to jump. Now that's good, but there's a slight issue here. It's like when you jump and you want to jump again, but you're like barely landing. There's a little bit of it would be nice because then nothing happens, you don't jump at all. So it would be nice if there was some buffer here, like if I press jump again, like I jump and then I press jump again, that the player would actually jump even though we haven't landed yet. Well, it's gonna wait until we land and then jump, basically. So that's what I want to fix. So let's go to input. And we'll go to where do we go? Jump something. All right. So here we're basically saying, okay, well, is the jump on? If it's pressed and we're on the ground, or we're climbing, right? Then we initiate the jump. Probably should move this into a function here to make it more clear what's happening here. And here we're handling like double jump. So if we have a double jump and we are, yeah, if we have the double jump upgrade and we have not double jumped yet in this jump, we are initiating a double jump here. Here we're detecting that the player does not hold the jump button, or is like ending the jump input. Right, so what does this do? Or is that true actually? Jump end input is jump down. On the ground stays, not to climb. Oh yeah, so this is when you release, I think. Yeah. So if you release and you're still on your way up, then we set the velocity to 0. And okay, yeah. Yes. Okay, so pressed means that's the edge event. However, this is not the case anymore. Yo, abbreviated. Yeah. Now I've shape shifted again here back to Gamedev. So I don't think I'm gonna do more web dev. We'll see though, but you know, you never know. But I just wanted to get that thing. I just wanted to get it out there. And now it's done. So now we can do this. It's basically I'm not quitting. I mean web, like streaming the web development. I probably won't stream more web development. Well, that's what I said, but you never know. Well, I will continue work on the website though, because now it's like a thing that could be worked on, and I do. Yeah, I also made some tools for like vibe coding and stuff. Not a single line of JS from now. Well, not on stream. Maybe we'll see. I mean, I actually like JavaScript, to be honest. But I don't know if it's time that I'm so used to it, because it's my job. But I do like it because it has, it does have like very nice function. Like the functions are really nice. You can define functions anywhere. You get the closures are super nice. You don't have to think about too much. Unlike C++. What? Okay, so how would we want to do this actually? I mean, we could have a flag, I guess. Yeah, that's just the easiest way, I guess, that I can think of right now. Jumped at last on ground. What is this? True. Last on ground. I don't know what this means. Last what on ground? Last frame, maybe? Yeah. Or last time. Last time we checked this thing. Okay. Has jumped. So let's add another flag. Has what would this be called? Like basically, if you jump, you release the jump button and then you press it again, all the while you're still in the air. Alright, yeah. I should also make some breakfast, to be honest. Actually, I'll just go and make some breakfast right now. BRB. I will figure this out here. Alright, BRB. So I'm ready soon. Sorry. All right. I'll just mute a little bit so you don't have to hear me eat here. But I'll program in the meantime. All right. So let's see. So we want to be able to detect if the player at any point does not hold it down. Right. This is called all the time. So if the jump is down, if it's not down, and we are not on the ground, that means this should be true. But once you've initiated a jump, this should be false. Alright, I believe it. You do that. Let's see. Can jump again. Okay, so this one. Now, but here we also initiate a jump as well. But at any point, if the jump is not down, I guess technically if the jump is not down at all, this should be set to true. So basically edge detecting, but instead of detecting when it at the moment it's pressed, We're detecting the moment it's released. I guess we already have that actually. I mean, we do have we don't really. I guess we don't really need to consume it. Doesn't make sense. Maybe, I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter. This is the only place that does this, so we're releasing jump. So here we can say if it's released, then we can jump again. And here, like, we're not actually, now we don't need to check pressed. We actually want to check if it's down. So if jump is down and we can jump again, same here, except this one is like you're already in the air, so right, so if we're in the air, we have double jump, and we have not double jumped. Okay, I'll can double jump. It's gonna be well, I haven't finished yet, Blue. I've got 2 pieces of toast left. I'm just doing a little bit in the meantime here. Underground or climbing? We can jump again. Right, so we're in the air. If jump is pressed, we're in the air. Yeah, so this doesn't need to change. And I guess this could be baked in here. I'll move this into a function just to make this. Bit easier to read. Jump scale, okay. Key. Hello, people. Shanky and Noctu4. How's it going? Welcome. Did I get the raid or something? What happened? Can we see a demo? Yeah. Let's see. Hang on, I'm just gonna go and see here. I don't have like notifications or anything. Oh, I see. Togglebit rated with 94 viewers. Oh, welcome. Sorry, I didn't see that. Okay, well, let's see if it runs. Probably not. Well, now I can't jump. I have to put this here. Oh, I can actually run it. I guess it runs the... No, well, yeah, okay. Well, I can't jump, I don't think. Well, here's a demo. Yeah, I can't jump, but whatever. Yeah, so it's basically Metroidvania. You can attack. You can walk. You cannot jump because I have to fix this. Let's see if it jumps now. Nice clean setup you got there. Oh, thank you. Yeah, try to keep the editor very lean and not too much going on. There we go. Now I can jump. And you can go over here. You can talk to this guy. And you can go over here and you can kill some enemies. Oops. Yeah. So how long did it take to build this? Well, not that fast. I mean, I started in when was it? There we go, that's locked. I started, was it November? No, I think November was when I did the other game, which was a very simple, small thing that I made first before I jumped into this. It might have been since the start of the year or something. Also, that shouldn't crash. I fixed that before. But I am, you know, I'm working on it in my spare time, so I don't like work on it full time or anything. But so it's like a couple of hours here and there. Reach unreachable code. Entity. Oh, it's this guy. Right. Let's just... Let's just do that. Wait. Oh. Alright. I'll just extend that. There we go. Oh, thank you. Yes, abbreviated. I got raided here. Yeah, there's something weird with those monsters. They make it. They make it fail. So I can run to the. Let's see. I can make it. I can also give you a little bit of sound as well. There's not that much, and it's probably gonna be changed. I don't know. It's like I want to have like an 8-bit feel to it. Oh, I got hit. But the sound is like very rudimentary. These guys are super buggy as well. Like they, yeah. I have to fix them. Okay, yeah. But anyway, what we were doing is we were coding here, and oh yeah, so let's try this out now. So basically the jump is changed a little bit, so I can, so when you jump, you press the button, you jump, of course. But if you jump and then press jump again, you can see now he's jumping like okay, if I hold the jump button all the time, you only do one jump. If I press the jump button and release and press again, it's gonna jump again. But if I press and then in the mid-air I release and press again, he's still gonna jump. So that's the change that I made. Oh, thank you. Particles on the monsters. Yeah, I made it all in GIMP. It's like making these smaller monsters is fun. I've tried to make like larger monsters, but that's where my artistic non-existent talent is has to throw in the towel there, unfortunately. But yeah. First year as well. Software and GitHub program, web dev. What language do you use? How do you get into SIG? So I've always been like interested in all kinds of programming languages, and sometimes I just go and look at what's out there. I've just discovered Zig, which seemed different enough to be interesting and try it. And so and I was also interested in making some making games, I've always been interested in that, but I haven't really, you know, gotten into it that much. But now I've just decided that now I'm just gonna start a project. I'm gonna work on it, try to work on it, you know, every week at least, almost every day, and you know, just continue. And Zig was like it's very nice low-level language that you can you have like I just like to feel like you have like total control. Like I like using tools as well, but it's like when I reach a point where I feel like, yeah, I wish this existed, and then I don't really see a path to it. That's when I have programming language, you can do whatever. And for web dev, I mostly use like TypeScript. I have experience in C# and Node, basically. We're using like Next.js, and I also developed a website with Kit right now, but that's a small one. How do you handle upgrading Zig? Well, to be honest, like upgrading from what was it, 0.13 to 0.14, that was actually quite easy. If I don't remember correctly, if I recall correctly, it's the same. Upgrading from, so now I'm running 0.15 here. Whoops. Come on. 0.15.1. And that was a bit more tricky because I used features that became deprecated or removed. And one of those features was called using namespace. And I used it a lot. And so I basically had to change all of my library. Like, okay, if I go through how this is structured here, so I have this, for example. So basically, I like to have one file that you can import that has basically everything. And I have like divided it up into 3 files here. So for the ECS here, we have S for system, C for components, and L for lib. Actually, this one is also like in lib. This one is I don't even use these. Okay, there we go. So I have this basic like imports. I have like raylib, the ECS library that I'm using here, and my own like game engine here. And so these 3 have like everything like systems, components. So what I did was, well, I think this was more of the case in the other project, the editor. I can show the editor here as well. So here's the code for the like a library sort of import that you can import from anywhere. Like this is its own module right now, but before I had it like I had main. Okay. Okay, anyway, I'm not gonna go through the details. I'm just gonna say that I was using namespace everywhere here to easily import a whole bunch of stuff, right? And then to easily import them from everywhere else. And using namespace was removed. So I had to basically, instead of saying here, import everything from vector.zig, now you have to say export each thing individually. So that was the change that I had to make, and I had to change in a lot of files for that. So that was quite nasty, but otherwise, what was it more? There was like a couple of more things. I was gonna do like a video on it, but I never got around to that. To like upgrade from 0.14 to 15 because it was some things happening there. Also, thank you for the follow, Shanky and Noctu 4 there. I'm currently a web dev, also looking to make a leap into game dev. Right, so you're kind of in the same position as me then. I actually mostly do front end, but I do basically I do everything so as well. And I've been programming since I was like 10 years old or something. But I haven't, when I was that young, I didn't really do much, stuff. But I started to learn programming at a young age and discovered that it was really fun. Yeah, and Zig is really like, it's very interesting. It's like you've been programming for so long and then find a language that sparks, the creativity and interest again. I guess it's also like a combination of that and feeling that now we can get into game dev with this language, which is really nice. Okay, so what do we want to do here? Toggle animation. Oh yeah. Yeah. So I was talking about the camera. The camera is interesting. Because basically, if you have a tile-based system here that I have, if it can run, and I'm going down here, you can see here the camera doesn't move vertically now if I jump here because we're at the bottom of the screen, right? If I jump far enough, it's gonna go off the ground here, and that's fine. But the problem is when you have well, let me open up another map here. This one. So the problem is here, well, it's not really that visible now because we don't see like the background. But basically here, I don't want the screen to move here. I want the camera to kind of, because if you look at the map here, it's like a T shape, well, upside down T shape here. So if you start down here and move, the camera should be bounded to this region basically. And if you switch to this part, now the camera kind of should unlock at the vertical position, right? It should kind of lock into this place. So basically what I'm trying to say is the camera is not super easy to get it good, I guess. And I've been thinking a lot about different ways to fix this problem here. And also one of the things that it could affect as well is like the maximum number of times you can see it one time. So let's say the camera is, like fixed here, for example. So it's like equal distance to left and right, maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's how you would do it. Like if the camera boundary is larger, if the camera viewport or whatever you want to call it here is larger than the boundary, which should be one tile in here, then, or two maybe, then it should just center at that axis maybe. I'm not sure if it makes any sense. Here, but, oops, there we go. That's the button here. I was just checking if I had this upgrade. Yeah. So anyway, so yeah, so I really want to fix. I really want to have a camera system that works, but I've been putting it off because, you know, this game is the whole game is in a giant flux state, and so you know, I don't really know what I want to have in it, and I know the basic sort of premise and you know, the genre and some of the, you know, the setting and a lot of things, but there's still a lot of things to figure out as well. All right. Okay, yeah, this is done actually. What is this? Any other action that requires it to be grounded, we should activate it. Oh yeah. Maybe, yeah, the mist form thing. So I recently added this ability here. Let me go to here, change this. So if I go, so you can see now this yellow thing is like changing me basically here. But I have an ability called mist form, so I go into mist. I will basically become invulnerable and also invisible to the enemy. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe this one doesn't actually. Okay, this one actually doesn't de-aggro. But we have this one up here. So now it's like doing stuff. But if I move away, it will de-aggro. If I go up here, it will aggro again. Follow me. If I go into, whoops, wait, that should have worked. If I go down here, it will. If I go into mist, you can see now it calmed down. Right? It's moving slower. If I go up and go into mist, it's not aggroing until I get out of mist. Right? So this is like an ability which is kind of like evade. Evading and it's like de-aggroing. And I guess also, you know, potentially you could make it use, or you could make more use of it as well. You also get like, yeah, you're evading, so you also get like invincible. I guess not from Project Tiles. Okay, there might be some issues there, but I think it should make you invincible. I don't know. We'll see. Did you make your dev tools yourself as well? So yes, is the answer there. This tool here I made with Zig as well, and using ImGUI, which is like a graphical user interface, immediate graphical user interface as they call it. And so you can basically have I can make scenes, I can define different things, so I can define like entities, and I can pull that in. So basically it's a very simple editor, because it's like, well, this scene here is very, very simple, because it's just a well, how it works now is you have one tile map, which could be changed. You could add like I could add, so you can add like multiple tile maps, but right now it's like hard coded to have like one tile map, and then you just drag in these things, which only has like a type and a position, basically. I also added a scale as well. You can scale it as well, but that's the only thing it has. So it's a very simple editor. But then I also added, well, to explain also, then you then export basically this file, so they are saved as JSON files, and so you can then from the game you can read the JSON files and spawn the entities where they should be spawned. So you get the position, you get the entity type, and the tile map and stuff. So everything is spawned at where it should be spawned. So basically, and this is like a visual, yeah, just a visual representation of the scene. It's a scene editor. So I thought that, okay, why couldn't I could just make this very simple editor, and then I just slowly added things to it. So for example, right here we have like a door entity, or it's a, yeah, you don't see the name here. Well, yeah, activated exit. So basically a door that you have to sort of activate to go through. And I made it so that entity types can have defined properties on them. So now each entity can have like, so for example, this door, where is it? Activated door somewhere. Activated exit. So this guy, I define like properties on this entity type. So every activated exit entity is going to have these properties. So you can define the key and the type, and when you place it in the scene, you can then populate this property. So this is an entity reference. You can reference some other entity, which is this case is this interior. It's this one here, and yeah. So basically, it started out very simple, but then I've slowly added things to it. So to fit whatever I needed to make. So basically, my philosophy was that I started the game development from scratch, and then I just added more things as I saw it being needed. At first, this was like several tools. I also merged a bunch of tools into one. So you have like animations, for example. I think animations was like the first thing that I did, the first tool that I did, where you can create different animations for different like entities. Okay, that one is not. But here you have like walk and stuff. Spawn. Wait, idle. Death. Yeah. So that's how it is. Anyway, so yeah, one feature that I think is really nice is if you can open the map in the. So this map is basically, because the editor knows where the entrances and exits are between each scene. So it basically you can calculate where all these meet and put them in a map that you can go and click to wherever you want to go, and it works really nice. So that's a nice feature that I added there. So it's nice because then you can just imagine, like, I wish I had this thing. It would be nice to have this thing, and then you can just make it, and there it is. All right. Yeah. Yeah. And let's see. Well, I was thinking about this one. Maybe you should do mist form that way. So we have this now. I also want to get to magic as well. Like there should be some kind of system there, but I still don't know really how that will work. Also, I want to do this so like we have in the input we have mist, and then we activate the mist form. And oh yeah, it adds vanish, that's right. So vanish is different from invisible. Or invincible, I mean. Well, that's different from the invisible as well. I have a component called invisible, which hides, it doesn't draw the thing. Vanish is basically making monsters not see you, basically. So there's like a function. Where is that? Here. Is vanished. Well, okay, yeah. Is player vanished? Yeah. Is player in line of sight? If we're vanished, they can't see us, right? But there's another thing as well. Where was that? Yeah, distance. So any calculations calculating distance, for example, if so, I don't know if this is a good way to do it, but it's like it made sense in the moment when I did it. But basically, if you're vanished, that's the same as saying you're infinitely far away. So anything that relies on some range, like aggro distance, for example, that's not gonna be true because you're always like infinitely far away. So we got like where is that? Yeah, a whole bunch of monsters using this one. And for example, we got these guys battling. They are kind of they have a burrow attack. So if they burrow and try to hunt you, if you vanish, then they wouldn't know where to burrow, like because they always try to burrow and then appear on the ground, but like beneath you, or yeah. So, but if you're vanished, then they don't really know where you are, so they won't be able to find you and burrow at your position, basically. Yeah, basically all the like the aggro checks are looking at distance to player. Yeah. Okay. Anyway. Yes, mist form. So what I was looking at is if we're invulnerable at that point. It doesn't look like we get invulnerability here. No. Oh yeah, that's right, because there's a delay. Yes. There is a delay. Where am I? Activate mist form. I was trying to see like where we add invincible here. This one. Okay, yeah. So if the mist is active and there. We should be invincible, okay. Oh, start here, alright, yeah. So if I go this... No, I still got damaged. Or, no, I didn't. I'm just joking. I still have 3 health. It just looked like it was damaged because I was like... Okay, I want to try the projectile. If that still hurts me. No, it doesn't. Okay, so maybe it was like a timing issue. It was probably that. Okay. Actually, you know what? Maybe we should make a monster, actually. We can make a new monster. So I can show a little bit how that works. So, whoops. Because we're using like state machines. Let's go. So we have like test. So I'm thinking of a flying monster. Let's make a new flying monster. So the first thing, actually, you go to the editor, and then we go to entities, and I want to add. So here we have like some test monsters. I want to add a new entity type, test flying monster 2, and I'm gonna say it's like 12 by 32 or 26 maybe. Okay, so there's our test flying monster, and let's go to the debug scene, and I'll just add that in there. So now we got ourselves a test flying monster. Let's put this guy over there so we can test this guy more. Okay. Now we need to implement this new entity. So then we'll go over here. Let's see if I remember how to do this now, because I've been streaming another project for a while, but for basically 2 weeks before this. So this is the first stream that I went back into the game. Let's see, I believe first we go to scene. Yeah, here's all the entity types. So I would just add that. Actually, I can search on this. And I would just add these. Okay. So now we need to implement this thing. This doesn't exist. So we can take this guy as a template. So let's grab this test flying monster 2, and we change you to 2 and 2 and 2, 2, 2. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now this should exist or not? Oh yeah, we need to add it here as well. The export. Oops. Now it should exist. Okay, there we go. So let's go in here and we will define something. So basically, let's actually just start from scratch, I guess. Yeah, let's just do that. Now I will show how it works here. We can keep. I guess we can keep that one. All right. Now all of this should be the same. So this is like boilerplate down here. Max health is defined. Yes, 3. I guess we'll increase this. I want to have like maybe 6. And flying color. So let's make this guy. So we have like blue, red, and yellow, I think. Let's make it, I don't know, brown, maybe. Okay. So now basically everything is set up here. What we need to do now is I need to populate this state machine. This state machine is going to be the driving sort of the behavior of the monster. So the way the state machine works is you have one state that the monster is in at any point in time. So for example, you have the flying state, which is yeah, you can have the flying state, flying. So basically a state, all of this is like a function. It's a function that takes a context, and the context includes some stuff that we need to you can change the state and you can do some other things. So what do we do here? Well, what we have is we have like some helper library here, monster utils, and we can have like default fly. So this is basically a default behavior that makes the thing fly. What this does is basically what you can do is you can grab a bunch of components because it's ECS. So you grab components from the entity here. So here we get the body. This is like the physics body where you can set position and velocity and stuff. Direction is kind of like I get horizontal direction, so it can be either left or right, and it determines sort of the animation and some other things. So it's just convenient to have this component here. And then we also have it calculates some kind of fly force depending on which speed you're putting in here. We're basically ignoring the mass of the physics part of the thing, and we're trying to calculate just based on this number here. We're calculating some speed or some force that we need to apply, and then the direction here. So that's it. And then the horizontal direction is adjusted to be, depending on the flying direction. If you're flying like at an angle to the left, then you're still gonna face left. If you're flying an angle to the right, you're gonna be to the right. And then we apply this force here as per usual in like a physics system or whatever. Okay, so that's all that this is doing. So it's like a convenience function for doing that. So now we can define a constant called fly speed here, and let's just say, I don't know what I had, like 50. And the direction, now the direction is kind of interesting here, because if we just say, let's just pick a random direction. So in Zig, if you want something random, you can use standard, crypto, random, and then float, for example. Float, so you get like 0 to 1. Okay, I have to specify the type. Why is this like, okay, and then you can do pi times 2. So now you get like a random angle, basically. But you will see that this is probably not what we want. But let's start there. Now the other thing is that if we go down here, we can see that we're initializing the state machine with the initial, but we don't have an initial. An initial is basically just a convention that I have, which defines like which is the initial state. So you could say initial equals to flag. Okay, and now we have the initial defined. Okay, now we should be able to spawn this guy now, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So let's try and run this now. Let it compile. Put this here so we can see the progress. Okay, well, it doesn't seem like anything spawned, so there might be some issue. Okay, I think I know what the issue is. So let's go to the editor. And we'll look at this guy one more time. Let's open up this entity type. And you can see here that the name is test flying monster 2 like this. Now I believe in the game it should be, or in the game code it's like this. So I have to like name it the same there. And now let's see if it works. Okay, there we go. Now we get this thing here, but it's like it's not the correct size, so I have to change also change the hitbox here to match whatever you had. I think it was like 12. Well, let's double check here actually. So it's like 12 by 26. Okay. Now let's see if that works. Also, thank you for the follow, Christopher 1955. All right, there we go. So now we get this guy, but you can see that it's basically just what you call in maths, I think, is a Brownian motion. It's like just a random, each frame it picks a random angle, because that's what we told it to do. Basically each frame picks a random angle and it flies in that direction. So what we can do is, to fix that, is we can add some state, and that we can do over here. So this struct is added as a component over here to the entity. So anything we put in this component as a property or as a field can then be like accessed through the context, state machine context. So if we say here, for example, we say fly direction, so we'll keep a fly direction in there. We'll define it to be 0, or we can even do, no, I'm not gonna risk it. Let's just say 0. I don't think you can use crypto in comp time. Like this is evaluated in comp time, and so you can. I don't think you can use random in comp time. I don't think so. I'm not sure, but I mean we can try it, but whatever. It doesn't really matter, because what you want to do is basically now we can use. We can get the monster. So let's have something called I mean I'm just gonna call it monster, and we'll get test flying monster 2 this. So now we have this thing, and now we can say that the fly direction is going to be equal to monster.fly direction. Okay, and we can replace this with the fly direction. So now we basically, now it's always going to be 0, but how do we initialize this now? Well, I'm glad you asked. Because what we do is we say what a state can be is not only a function, but you can also change it into a struct that has an update function. So and in turn you can also add an initial function or a pre-function which will be run to set up the state. So here we have the flying state is a struct now, and this function is now in here, and I will fix this in a second here. This now we can make a new function called pre. And what this will do is it will grab the monster and it will set the fly direction to the random number. Right, and this will happen once. When the flying state is entered, this will happen. Okay, and then this needs to be renamed to update. So now this is the update function of the flying state, and this is the pre function of the flying state. And you can also have a post function if you want, but this is all that we need for that. So now the fly direction should be set once, and then it's gonna fly in one direction there. Love the color scheme. Which one is this? Looks like melange. Yes, it is melange. Melange. Not sure how to pronounce it. But anyway, this is now a little bit of a quirk here is that the initial, now you have to also change this a little bit, because the initial needs to now be a function, a state function, and then you have to call set state to flying in order for the pre function to fire there. But that's it. Now we should have let's also make this public. I think we need to make it public. I don't know. But anyway, now we should have a random direction being picked, and it's gonna be consistent through each frame. What's happening here? And there we go. So now this guy is like moving, yeah, the same direction, you can see. And if we do this, yeah, it picks another random direction and moves there. All right. Now, so that was kind of the like a basic introduction here to this system here. Now, what I want to do is I want this flying monster to basically sort of fly in like a sinus, like a sine wave kind of way. I can sort of see it in my mind, but I'm having a hard time explaining it maybe. So basically I want this to kind of partially sinus wave or sine wave, sorry. I don't know, in my language we say sinus wave, but in English it's actually called a sine wave. Anyway, so how would we do that? Well, we probably want to have some sort of progress through the sine wave, right? So if we, for example, we have well, we have the direction here. Now that's gonna change. I mean, basically we could just do so we have like math sine. I'm not sure, does this exist as well? So you have this like built in, I don't know what they are called, like at functions that can do stuff, random things. So we have like sine and then the input here, which is I'm gonna say the time. So now that's that. So how do we turn this into an angle now? So it moves up and down. I probably want to involve pi somehow. Well, let's just try this and see how it looks. Now this is, we can still keep this around because I'm gonna have this later, I think, when we're like aggroing towards the player or something. But we'll see how this looks. Hey, what you plan on using for your maps? Map editor. Do you want a custom one or do you want to pre-made some? Well, I showed a little bit before, but I actually made a custom editor for making the maps and stuff. I'll show it again here in a second here. So test flying monster 2. Wait. Fly direction F64. Okay, well, if I do this, will that work? Yes. I think because this is like comp time. Yeah. And then this is also this like polymorphic or whatever you want to call it. Monster is not used. Let's just get rid of that. There we go. Oh, more issues. Is it because we're can't like inside a calculation here? Like what if you do as F32? Will that work? No? Okay, so maybe sign is always F64? Oh wait, no, I'm stupid. It's because T is this is F64. Okay, well, let's make this into F32 then, or float cast. Yeah, float cast. You have to do, oops, float cast. There we go. Okay. I mean, we could also make this F, like you could also float cast here. I guess that's way more readable, maybe. I don't know. Okay. Interesting pattern. It's like moving in a circle and then keeping the same for a while and then changing again. Interesting. I would not guess that was the behavior. I can just float cast this, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because the thing about the casting is that you have to know, like, the resulting location has to know, like the result, that the type has to be known, basically. Why is it behaving like this? It's kind of weird. I would assume that it would. Oh wait, is it because we're? No, let's think about this. So the flight direction. So sine t, right? That goes from, if I recall correctly, it goes from -1 to 1, right? With t being like, yeah, this is like the angle, or, and then with times pi, that should just make it. Maybe it's because it is half pi. If I do 2 times, it should just move in a circle. I see, this is the experiment part. Oh, wait. No. T is just increasing. Maybe I should do like T over something.
Yeah. I have like a little bit of knowledge, but I'm not a math. Okay. I don't know, man. Why is it like randomly moving like that? Like the only thing that I could think of is like because the like each frame is not consistent. It's not fixed, so it's not consistently, I guess, running like that. Well, that seems to be more consistent, I guess. What if we do like over 2? I think I know what the issue is, maybe. No, I don't, actually. Don't need to normalize it first. So, let's see. Pi times 2, that's the entire thing. Okay, let's do this. Let's add 1, so we don't have negative. So now it goes from 0 to 2, right? And then you can well, let's just do this now. So now it goes from 0 to 1 times, well, it goes from 0 to 2 now, so we can just times it by pi, and that should be, because we're getting like negative directions. Maybe that's what's throwing it off. Like we're getting like negative directions. All of a sudden it's like turning, maybe, I don't know. If it feels like it should be a smooth transition because the sine curve is like smooth. No, it still behaves weird. Like the only thing that I can think of is that t is not, like this function is not called in a fixed rate. T can be jumping around. Like it can at one point, a couple of frames, it might be a smooth like point, you know, whatever frames per second it is. But then all of a sudden you get a frame that is like double or triple or 10 times longer than the one before. And then this whole thing falls apart, I think. So I think that's probably the issue here. So basically, I think for this to work, we need to have a better like fixed rate update, which I don't have right now in the game. I basically only have where is the thing? Yeah, the update. Yeah, it's running. It's like calling this function whenever it can. Where is this? Yeah, here's the loop. Loop de loop. I'm pretty sure this is the issue, but I might be wrong. But because if you do like this, it's like it's because we're dealing with velocity and not position. We're not setting the position to a sine. Maybe, but maybe that's the issue. No. But I think it would help to have this. So maybe I'll put this off for now. Yeah, this is going into, well, what this is doing is it's calculating the direction we want to fly in, and that is, you know, sine. I mean, basically, I'm just using sine as a way of moving through. No, wait. No, maybe this is the nature of the sine function, actually. Maybe I'm... I mean, okay, maybe I was thinking it did something like this. Let's do this. So it's basically, we're taking math pi times the time, but then we're modding by pi times 2. This is what I was thinking, I think. But not really. I can see now why it did what it did. Yeah, look at this. Now it's going in a circle here. Maybe I should bring out Desmos or something. But yeah. What's your take on the game engines? I mean, well, I want to preface by I'm not a seasoned game developer or anything. I just love programming, and I've been a web developer for a long time, but I want to get into game development, and I've used a little bit of Unity and Unreal, but it's basically just dip my toes into it. And the reason why I choose to not use one is because I want to have total control of everything. So I don't want the tool to get in the way, so to speak. If I'm thinking like, oh, I wish I could do this, and then if I have a programming language, I can just go and do this. I don't have to make a plugin or something to the tool and have to learn that. I can just, start from scratch and do it everything. That's not that's how I wanted to have it. So that's why I'm not using like a game engine. But it requires, I guess, a little bit of patience to actually start somewhere and then slowly build on it. But I would say, like, once you get like to a certain point, it feels like you have a pretty nice platform to stand on. Then it becomes a lot easier. Although some things could be hard as like to do anyway, but yeah, I have nothing against game engines, but it's like I just feel like sometimes it just feels like some tools, like it feels, I don't know, it didn't mesh with me very nice. I haven't tried Godot. That's one tool that I'm actually curious about to try. But I just like programming. I just like to have the power to be able to program whatever I come up with. Okay, so fly direction. Well, this was not really what I wanted. I didn't want the monster to fly in a circle like that. But what if we limit this to that? I mean, it would be interesting to see. Maybe we can. Maybe. Oh, now it's like drawing a B shape or something. That's not really what I wanted either. Okay, so basically, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna start by trying to only move like up and down. I want to move it in a sine wave up and down, but I'm using velocity and not like setting the position. So, and it's gonna move up and down in a sine wave, right? So, isn't that just the integral? Or wait, no. If you want the position to be a sine wave, what will the velocity be? It will just be the derivative of the position, which is basically, I think it's like, it's just another sine function, but it's slightly modified. It's like a cosine negative or something like that. But then I only want it to be for the x position, or the y position, I mean. The y-axis. So it's either gonna fly up or down, and then it's the speed that changes. Ah, okay, yeah. So the direction will be, well, let's do, I mean, it doesn't really matter, we can just use, let's do like sine of t. And if this is, let's just say if this is negative, then we're gonna use I'm just gonna define this. Up is it's actually this, and then down is this. Okay. My friend was asking to learn Unity, and I was like, "Oh, this looks like a project. I will learn it. 3 projects later, I can start again." Well, I wouldn't speak against learning it. I think it's a healthy experience to learn it, and you can also like discover that, oh well, maybe this fits very well for me. Like, you know, you never know. So I think you should try new things. Like that's a good thing. I'm just saying, like, for me, when I tried it, that was my experience. But I will say, like, Godot seems to be actually like something that I would be interested to look at. And Unreal Engine, I do like more than Unity, but you know, that's just me, you know. Because of I like the blueprints in Unreal Engine. I tried to make like a Zelda 2 clone in it. It was pretty fun. Alright, so fly direction, if the sign, so it's basically a way to just check like, okay, is it positive or negative? We have two ways to go about this. We go up or down. Then the speed, I'm just gonna do this. This is gonna be the fly speed times this plus 1 . Well, okay, let's try this and see how this looks. I need to kind of, you need to kind of match these cycles. Like this should be, this is in sync with this, which means something, but I don't you are at okay. For some reason it's like, yeah, you're saying like over 2 without a 0.0, so then we're gonna interpret this as an integer and that will truncate this operation. So you have to like add these things there. This one is, wait, why is that like F64? Oh, I see. Well, let's just float cast this. There we go. Thank you for the follow, Nils Avatar. Welcome, everybody. Yes. No. What? Oops. What happened here? It goes up a lot and then down a little bit or more now and then up a lot. Okay. I don't think this is a problem. Let's think about this. So it's gonna be negative half the time and positive half the time, right? But this guy needs to sync up. So when this is negative, well, okay, when it transitions from negative to positive, maybe we should use like the phase shift here. Maybe we should use cosine. I'm just stabbing in the dark here. Okay. Well, I guess it's like a little bit closer to what I want, but it's not exactly. I just do this to increase the frequency of the wave here. So it looks like when it goes to the top, it's like more floaty. So up is when this is negative, right? So this should be going okay, let's just try this. I'm just stabbing in the dark here. Okay, I think this is like the other way around now. I mean, you could do all sorts of weird things. You can like have this be double the period. So now the fly speed will do that, I guess. Actually, you know what? Maybe this is stupid. Maybe the direction is always up. And then the fly, and then we don't adjust here. And we just say sine. Because then the speed can be negative, so we will go in like the other way. Yes? Question mark? I mean, it looked weird at the start. Maybe it was just my imagination. Okay. Yeah. Cool. And now this was kind of what I was thinking. And then I wanted to be moving like, you know, now, okay, now we're going back to like the state thing. So I want it also now to randomly, this is going to be its basic movement, right? But that now I want it to like randomly stop the vertical, I think. Or actually maybe no. Now I want it to move. Sometimes it's gonna pick a direction. So basically now this is like the this is gonna be like the yeah, just the background, like up and down motion. Okay, and then you can actually, I can define this as a function. So we can say I guess sine fly, and we will take this here. And what's nice about these machine contexts is, or functions that use like a context, is that you can basically, if you only have this context, yeah, the functions will look the same basically. So you put a context in, and then you have everything you need in the context, which is nice, because then you know, I can just call it like this, and it kind of looks like a monad now. Okay, so we've got that happening, and we should be back at the same place. I wonder, am I using, is it using the new compiler? I feel like it should be faster. Okay, well, whatever. Okay, so we got that. Now I also want a direction that's picked, and that I think I want this direction to be, it's gonna be kind of I think it's gonna be sort of what we had before, actually. So basically I want the sign fly motion to be like a background motion that's always like active, and we might change if it's always active later, but and then I want this I want this thing here, which is gonna be monster fly direction. This is the randomly picked direction and fly speed. So you can stack these because we're using we're applying force multiple times. That's fine. All right, so let's get the monster there. So we're doing a sine wave flying thing, and then we're defaulting to a direction as well. So let's look at and see how this looks. Should show that. Yeah, so now see. Yeah, it picked a direction that like goes upwards, I guess. You know what? I just thought of something. Like, we could actually put this. Actually, we could make the monster, like the direction, be based on the direction we're trying to flying in. So if we're trying to fly to the right, then this should be up and down. If we're trying to fly to the left, then it's also up and down. But if it's up or straight or whatever, yeah. So this will make the sine wave, the yeah. It would change the direction that the sine will like move the thing like up and down there. So it's not going to be up and down. It's going to be like perpendicular to whatever. Yeah, so now you can see, well, it's kind of hard to see, I guess. It's going to the left, and you can see it moving. It's moving up and down. Okay, actually, let's do. Let's make this. Let's make two different things here. So this is the sine fly speed and the fly speed. So the fly speed I'm gonna do like 10. Well, actually, let's name this idle fly speed actually. So this is like 10. Sine can still be the same, I guess. Yeah. So this is the idle fly speed. This is the sine fly speed. Yeah, you can see it sort of moves in this direction down here, and then the sign is kind of doing this. Now I'm not sure if this is what I want actually. Maybe. Yeah, let's try that. Okay. But now what I want to do is basically I want to put a timer on this, and there's how I built this system is that you can have like a timer set. So basically here we can say set, or actually it's in the utils here. So set duration and the duration could be, it could be random, it could be anything, but let's just say idle fly duration. I will define this here, idle duration, and this is in seconds, so let's just do, I don't know, 1 second or something. Okay, so now we have a duration on that state. So how do we then transition from this state to something else? Well, we have to then check here. Oops. Has state ended? So that will check. So this will basically be true when the duration is up. And when that happens, we want to well, we can transition into another state, or we can do other things as well. So we can do whatever we want. And basically what I want to say is I want to change the direction to something else. And then I want to set the state duration again. So then it's like, now it's like every whatever fly duration, it's changing its direction, which is every second. It's kind of moving like in a erratic movement there. It kind of fits actually the kind of thing that I had in mind. Yeah, it's like a little bit random, a little bit anxious, maybe an anxious spirit that is floating around. Okay. Okay, let's see what happens if we go and hit it. Okay. Yeah. So it's like it has 6 health, so it dies when it has 6 when it hits 6 times. But what I want to have is I want to have a little bit of knockback. And usually how I do that is that there is a, well, if we go over here and check, okay, well, this is like, usually how I do this is that I have a function which is like, yeah, this is the common behavior, which basically means you're checking for if you have died or if you have taken damage. And also in this common behavior is also like behavior for knockback. We have this default damage behavior, which yeah, does that. It checks for damage, and it plays a hit sound, which is just, yeah, the same for everything. And then we have some particle spawning for hit particles. We have the knockback, or you can turn off the knockback option if you want. But yeah, this is usually how I do this common behavior. And then you can define these common behavior events that will return, like if we're dead and if we want to do anything else when we're done. Like for example here we're checking, okay, if we're dead, when we don't want to do anything else in here because we don't want to check anything, we just changed the behavior to where is that? Yeah, we changed the state to be dead, and then we should be done with it. We don't do anything else basically. Okay, so we could add this here. No, this is the wrong here. So we'll add this function here. So we have the common behavior, right? Now this should all be the same here, because except for this part. There we go. And yeah, we need a dead state now, so let's make a dead state that's like basically doesn't do anything. We are just dead. So now you know what happens. Void. And this is not used. Okay. Now, sorry. Okay, now we can in the update here we can actually call this function. So if common behavior, and we get the event here, we can switch on it. Actually, I think you can do this. You can switch on the event like this directly, and then, or maybe you can't actually. I'm not sure actually. You have to have it like this. So we have dead, then we return. We have hurt. We don't do anything. Okay. So now we have this behavior. Now we should have knockback happening. And what's good with having a common behavior function is that you can call it from every state that wants that behavior. Now that's like, it's like pros and cons with that. It's like, yeah, you have to call it from every state function. And here we go. Now we have knockback here. Like you have to call it from every state function, but you can also choose not to call it as well. So you have total control, and it's like a compromise having this function. This function is the common. It's like, yeah, the idea of these state machines is that you have total control inside of the functions. What's happening? There's nothing that is not defined in this function that's gonna happen. With some exceptions, like the health system is not part of this, the death system is not part of this, but things that are not like global, like updating the monster, you know, the position and velocity and doing some other stuff is determined totally in here. So I really like that that you can see basically everything in here, and if you want to fix something with behavior of a monster, then you know exactly where to go. So I really like this pattern here. All right, now what we want to do is, I think I want to add an aggro state. So this guy is like flying around, but then if you get close enough, I want to add an aggro state. So I'm gonna make a function called should aggro, and we're gonna have a bool here, and basically if distance, no, it's monster utils, distance to player is less than, and then it's like aggro distance. If that is not true, we return false and return true. I usually have this pattern where I have a bunch of checks like this, return false and then returns true in the end, because having a whole bunch of ands is not formatted nicely, so I usually do it like this. Alright, so let's say that this is the only thing. We now have a function that says if we should aggro. Now we can go in here and we can say, actually I'll put this up here. No monster we need to have. And actually, yeah, let's put this here. Like, if we should aggro, I usually have the checks to change the state at the top because all the other logic is happening down here. So if we should aggro, then we set the state to aggro, and we return. Now, what is aggro? Well, aggro should basically be the same thing as flying almost, but I'm gonna change some things. So we have the aggro state. Now the fly direction is not a random anymore. It's gonna be player something player. Where is that? Angle. No. Pretty sure I have get direction to player. There we go. So that's what that's gonna be. So it's always gonna be moving towards the player basically. And we should still have this common behavior. This is not needed now. And we're not changing the direction. We still want to do the sign fly and the default fly. However, now this is, it should be faster now. So so we should make another one called let's do this. Aggro fly speed is 50. We can also add an aggro sign fly speed to increase the intensity a little bit. I don't know, 100. Let's just try it. But we have to modify this to take fly speed and do that. I guess we could make it, I guess we could make it F64 just to make it convenient here. Okay. And now we supply aggro sign fly speed here. And here we supply sign fly speed. And over here we do aggro fly speed. Alright. And we don't have monster, we have to grab monster there. There we go. Alright, so now we have an aggro state that we transition from when we should aggro here, and that should now like follow the player. Oh yeah, we don't have, okay, aggro distance is not aggro distance. Let's take, I don't know, 50. I'm not sure actually how much it should be. Well, let's try 50. And we'll see. The other one is okay, yeah. Sorry. So I think the problem is that yeah, the flying, if you see here, the pre-function chooses a random direction once and then it's done. This chooses also a direction once towards the player. This should be updated though. So it should really be updated Also, it doesn't make sense to have duration error. So this should be updated. This shouldn't be actually in here at all. We should set this here. Yeah. You can still just have an update function like this. If you want. All right. So it's randomly moving around and we'll get close. Now it's following me. If I go up here, it's gonna change direction, but it's kind of moving in a weird way. Yeah. Also, I think, yeah, the knockback is a little bit too strong. I would change it a little bit. Although the thing is that there's no... You can't really change it. We have a default knockback strength here. 200. So this should really take a knockback, like a parameter here. Knockback strength. There. It's called from a number of places here. I mean, you could also do this to make it like more, you know, there's no overloading in. There's no overload, and also you have to specify every parameter. So you can't do this and say, well, it's equal to default, blah, 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 blah. But what you can do is you can like have options. Now you still need to pass the parameter, but you don't have to populate everything. So let's do like knockback options. Okay, I will have this here, and this is a struct, and we have like knockback strength. Now here you can actually define default knockback strength. So when you create the options, you don't have to pass knockback strength there. But you still need to provide it here. But now for every place that uses this function doesn't need to import default knockback strength and provide it. We can just provide the options there. Like this. So now that's the same thing there. And oh yeah, it doesn't seem like we're actually using this anywhere else, so it doesn't really matter that much. But anyway, apply knockback on hit. This, instead of just being a bool now, could be like a nullable or optional knockback options, which equals to this, so it's always true. And now u will be options.strength. I guess it's redundant to call this knockback strength. I will just call it strength. And now now we can grab options out like this and pass it there. Or actually, yeah, this is knockback options. Which is also a really nice refactoring thing. Like if you have a bool and you need some more data, change it into an optional, and then we just need to add a capture here and then we can pass it. That's it. I think that's just a really nice thing in Zig. All right. Cool. Right. So now you have to, but now you these things have to be null instead now. And you are null. That's right. Oops. And you are null. There we go. And that's all we need to do. And now we can potentially, what's good about this also is like now we can potentially like add more options if we want. And we don't, now when everything is like converted like to this pattern, we don't have to like change other places now. We can add however many options we want here. So that's really nice. Alright, so let's go back here. Now we can actually say knockback, and we can specify the strength. Now I think they said like 200. Let's do 50. Alright. I'm still not super happy with the aggro thing, but I think I want to double the frequency actually. Okay, you can see that the knockback is barely noticeable now. Let's do like, I don't know, 100. I forgot to change the frequency. I'll do it next time. Okay, that's a little bit better. Let's do like 70. Let's do like 80. Okay, I'm just gonna be happy there. And then let's see, where was the sign fly? Yeah, so sign fly. So we have fly speed, and then we should also have like frequency factor or something. Frequency. So this should be here. Yeah. Let's do that. So now we can set that. So we can say idle sine frequency factor and aggro sine frequency factor. So let's do like, I don't know, 4. This. Is 2. So now it should like speed up the sine thing as well when it's aggroing. I should maybe change the color. Yeah. It's aggroing. Okay, nice. Okay. Alright. So that was a little monster there. I mean, I can add more things. Like, you can add, you know, some sort of attack. Maybe like a projectile or a charge attack or something. So basically, yeah, let's just add a charge attack here. Okay, so basically, so in the aggro, then we can make this into a function. So. There we go. And so what we need is we need a charge attack. Right, and we need a pre-function and an update function. Whoops. Still want to have common behavior, and we want to get. We basically want to do the same thing, except we don't. Now I don't want to have the sign thing, but I do want to move towards the player. Except I only want to set the direction once, like when the charge begins, because then you can dodge it. Like this. And then this would be, now we need to have like a charge fly speed. And let's set this to like, I don't know, 200. Oops. Okay. Now, we don't want the charge to be like infinite time, so we need to set a duration, and this is like charge attack time or duration. So we need that as well, charge attack duration, and let's set like, I don't know, 2 seconds. Okay, now down here we want to check has state ended. So basically when the charge attack is ended, we should go back to aggro state. So we'll set the state back to aggro, and we will return. Right? So pretty easy to define like a new state, and then, you know, wire it back up to aggro. Now the only thing left here is how do we enter the charge attack. So basically, if we're aggro, we could also check now for distance again. So we could check if we should charge attack. Let's do this. If we should charge attack, we will set the state to charge attack. And now we need this function. Let's just copy this. Should charge attack. Now let's do that we're within some sort of distance. Charge attack distance. Let's call it like trigger distance to make it very clear what's happening. If the player is within the trigger distance, this should be true. Charge attack trigger distance. Now the aggro distance is 50. So let's make this like 20. Now let's just take the aggro distance, because it was pretty close. Actually, we could make this like a longer as well. We could make this 100. So it's like you have to get pretty close to aggro it, but then when it's actually aggroed, it can attack you from very far away. Okay, yeah, this needs to be that. It made a charge attack. It's still aggro. It's charging up there. It's following me. Okay, as you can see, also there's no cooldown on the charge attack, so we could add a charge attack cooldown. Now, in order to do that, we need more state here. So we need to have a charge attack. So I usually do like this. I have a can charge attack at, and it says F64. It's a timestamp. Oops. And then there we should define a cooldown. Charge attack cooldown is, I don't know, 5 seconds, 4 seconds. It's attacking for 2 seconds, cooldown for 4 seconds, basically attacking half the time. Let's do 5 seconds. And then once we initiate the charge attack, we can also set the cooldown. Actually, you know what? This might be a good place to set the charge attack. Use the post function, because the post function is, I don't know why I always do that. The post function is called when the state is exited. So we'll have the post function, and here we can actually set this guy to and then you can create a timer like this, basically just adding the t variable to this thing here, but it's a fancy way of saying this. We're creating a timer, and the duration is charge attack trigger, no, cooldown. Yeah, so when the attack is done, that's when the cooldown starts. So now we can actually like lower this to 3, which I believe would be like equivalent to what I was thinking. Yes, and now if we go to should charge attack, we can now add this as a thing. So we'll get the monster and we'll check if and then you can check like this: is timer expired? Can charge attack at. If it's expired, well, if it's not expired, we return false. Okay, so that should determine whether we can charge attack now. So this should be, now it should be behind this cooldown here. Now I would like also to change the color. So let's do like when we're aggro. Okay, now I want to make this back into a struct, actually. Oops. Update. So let's do pre. Now I want to get whatever we add down here is like a, it's this one. I guess we can call it again. Yeah. We'll call this. So whenever we go into aggro mode, we change the color to something. Dark brown, maybe. And when we attack, we change to I don't know, red, dark red. Is that a thing? Dark red? No? I mean, we could just do dark red, that would be like this. Okay, so now we get some color coordination on what it's actually doing, I think. So now it's idle. We get close, it turns it. Okay, yeah, you can see it charge attacked immediately there. So we might want to have, yeah. You know what? Actually, what we could do is we could have it be. We could have this thing not happen in the post function, because I want the charge attack to have a cooldown whenever you go into the aggro. So whenever you go into aggro, there's gonna be a cooldown for the charge attack, so it won't charge you right away. And that will also work here because we're setting the state to aggro, which will also set the cooldown, so it won't immediately go back into charge attack state. Failure. Oh. Let's just remove this. There we go. Okay. And I mean, if I was thinking also, like, if you want maybe only the first time it to be faster or something, you can also do that. Maybe like in the flying, in the post function here, you can do something, or have just have a flag that says, have you charged yet, and change it there. We can also change this cooldown to be 2 maybe. Okay, now that's cool. So so now we have a charge attack, and we could do, what I was thinking is maybe have the charge be more like it starts off slow and then builds up speed. So what we need for that, well, we have a built-in thing for having the time from when the state started, I think. So state started at, so you can get that like this. Now we need this to calculate the speed. So here we have the charge fly speed. So let's do fly speed equals to, oops, this. So that's the time, that's the number of seconds. No, this is the timestamp. Get state time elapsed. There we go. And you can even have like ratio as well. So ratio is like, goes from 0 to 1, where 0 means we just started, 1 means that's full on. So you can do charge fly speed times the ratio, and that will be our fly speed. So now it's kind of starting slow but then building up the speed. Okay, maybe it's a little bit too slow. It does chase you there. Okay. what we could do is we could say, because I want this to be, let's say that if, so let's do elapsed ratio is this. So let's do like ratio, and let's do if ratio is less than 0.2, then the fly speed is 0. So it's gonna stand still. And that's gonna also become like kind of like a, it signifies kind of like the a telegraph that it's gonna charge. Otherwise, we're gonna do this times the ratio, and it now it's gonna like immediately get some speed. But yeah, we'll see how this looks here. Well, it's gonna immediately get speed once it starts moving again, because you're not starting from ratios like 0 speed and building up. You're starting from 0.2 and building up. Yeah, well, I want to increase this a little bit. Also, what we could do is in the pre-function we could also say we can set velocity to 0. So then it will immediately, you would immediately see that it just breaks. Hopefully. Yeah. And it didn't take long for it to actually reach the point there. What we could do is maybe increase the charge attack duration a little bit. Even though it kind of felt a bit long, but we can do that, and then we can increase this to 0.3, and we can also increase well, let's see where we land up here, because next thing I want to like modify the actual speed of the monster here. Yeah, so you could take ratio times some factor, maybe. Like ratio times 2, but then we also do max, or not max, min, to clamp it into, so it will never fly faster than the fly charge speed, but it will maybe reach it faster here. Yeah. Maybe it should be a little bit faster actually. Let's do like 300. All right. Goodbye. Yeah. You could also make like if the charge attack goes into a wall, then it like gets stunned or something, or it aborts the attack. But yeah, something like this. I was thinking a little bit different, but I don't really have like the graphics to show what I was thinking with this monster. But it's basically going to be some sort of ghostly thing that will that has like armor and maybe some weapons, and then maybe it will do like a melee attack as well. Okay, so yeah. Okay, yeah, my brain kind of malfunctioned there for a little bit. What do we do now? Well, yeah, but yeah, so now we added a new monster. I mean, we could change, like, I think one thing that makes sense is the thing that I said, like when it goes into a wall, it should sort of stop and go back to like aggro mode. It could even get stunned for a second or something as well. So that we could do, like, we have the charge attack, and we can check here. We can check let's see. Well, we're flying, so normally we have like on ground, but that's not really the same thing. Is blocked, maybe. And then this would just be like yeah, so basically we're saying like, okay, get the hitbox, and if you're blocked at yourself, you are... I'm not sure if this is gonna work actually, because of the physics system is kind of, it's pushing things apart, but well, let's just see. I guess we could also look for like collisions. Well, let's try this, and then we'll set the state to stunned, and now we need a new state, so we'll have a stunned state. And this will have a pre-function, and we'll set the state, duration to be stunned duration. We can also, what was it? Do this. So now we set this to some sort of, I don't know, blue color, dark blue maybe, signifying that we're stunned. And we have an update function, and we're checking if the state has ended. We will set back to aggro and return. And if we're stunned, we do want to have the common behavior, I think. Still. But I think if we're hurt, we don't want to move. So what we could do is we could set the velocity to 0 here. So basically we can't move. Let's just do this. Now we need the stun duration. And let's do like, I don't know, 1 second or 2 seconds. Okay. So I feel like it's pretty easy to add a new state and like wire it up. It's just a matter of having the tools underneath to actually be able to do it. But once you have like a set of basic things, there we go. It actually worked. Okay, maybe it's pretty. Maybe it's Maybe this is not enough then. Maybe we need like well, actually let's do this. Let's do should get stunned. Maybe we just need to check the what is it? If we're not blocked, we return false. If what did I think about? Yeah. So if the we don't have get velocity. We have set velocity. We have get position. We should also have like get velocity. Okay, get velocity. So if the velocity is if this basically if the speed. But I would like to check also like the, I mean the thing that we would like to check is the collision maybe impact, like the speed of which the collision was done or something like that. But I'm just gonna say like if the velocity is more if let's do what is it called? Length. If the length is more than something here, like stunned speed threshold. If it's less than that. And I don't know really what this will be, but let's set it to 20. Yeah, so basically that's the idea. But maybe I need to extend my library a little bit so I can look at like collision, like if we collided with something that is blocking and the velocity of the collision was high enough, then we stop. Yeah, like that did make sense. Like it stopped at pretty okay there. It didn't actually. Okay. So is block that is not really enough here. So I would have to check for collisions, I think. Because I could either do that or like extend this a little tiny bit, but that just seems a little bit hacky, to be honest. So we will I'm adding a to-do here. Add a convenient way to check if we collided with a blocking entity. Also would be nice to get the speed of collision, but I'm not sure if we can actually get that at this moment. But alright. Actually, you know what? Maybe the last one... No, it didn't end prematurely, I don't think. Okay. Well, anyway. Yeah. I think that's gonna be it for this time. I'm kind of getting hungry and hangry and yeah. But really nice to get into the game development again, since it's been like 2-3 weeks or something. Yeah, so that's gonna be it for this time. So thank you very much for joining and sticking around here. And well, now that I have some people, I can send them off. I can send you off to some with the raid that I don't usually get to do here. Well, let's see. Where's the thing? There's a button somewhere. Raid channel. There we go. Okay. There we go. We've got some people here. What? Where? How? Robots. Sure, let's go. Let's do this one. Alright, that's gonna be, so I don't know if you can hear me now because I raided, but thank you and